All right. Well, we'll give a couple minutes for people to start rolling in here. Um, it's good to see y'all. It's good to see the regulars here: Zero, Tanner, Bert, Fractal Bob, Celeste, Hillgarden, Gompasta, Humanity, and Enid. Oh, it's so good to see y'all. Thank you so much for coming. Hey, Fungi Mancer. Nixie's here. Oh, I love seeing the regulars just rolling in here. It's so cool. You guys are awesome.
I should probably sticker. There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, we'll probably do a stream in March that's like dedicated to like reactions and memes and stuff. Fantasy February is definitely taken over the server a bit, so we're going to be digging into that today too. But with Valentine's Day kind of mixing in to the whole equation, I'm kind of curious what this does. It's fantasy and Valentine's Day. It's kind of a weird combo, honestly, because you're talking about like the corporatization of like romance and stuff, and then prompting for any sort of fantasy theming stuff just makes it look really odd to have these like corporately packaged box of chocolates uh, amongst the fantasy space. Oh, hi, Gold Past. I'm glad you're excited. That's awesome. Um, as people start to roll in here, so I want to kind of give a quick explanation for anyone that's new here how this works. First off, my name is Victor Gnarly. I am a former visual effects artist with Cartoon Network. I worked on shows like Robot Chicken, Moral Oral, and a bunch of other stop mo shows for them back in the day. But now I'm doing this, and I just love doing this. It's so much fun to make stuff with you guys, and I at least in terms of how everything works here through Discord, we have two different channels that you can interact with us with. We have VC Text and VC Create. VC Create is just above. Actually, they both are just above the stage where we're hanging out here today. So if you look on your Discord feed, you'll see it. I'll zoom in here for you. Just above, you'll see VC Text and VC Create. VC Create is where we can prompt things together and where you guys are going to be able to collaborate with us directly. So it's a really fun way to to not only share each other's prompts but to iterate onto them. So like we're able to collaborate directly, and it's just a whole new way to make things. It's just so much fun. Eventually, it won't be new, but it just feels new every time we have, especially with new folks here who are just like trying to learn Midjourney. This is perfect for you. So, hope you stick around and check out some of the stuff we got going on. Then we also have VC Text, which is just above VC Create. And VC Text is where you guys are able to chat with us, and your chats will show up on the video feed here. These are all recorded to YouTube and uploaded eventually, but um, the this is how you show up on the stream is by either talking or prompting. It's either or. You're welcome to do yeah, you're welcome to do either. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear a bit today because we got a couple of assignments from other people outside of my stream, actually, including some homework. What is it? Morbach and inspired a few of our members to ask for homework from me. So I did the lazy thing and I said, "Hey, actually, can Fran, can you make the homework?" So at the towards the end of the stream, probably midway through, I'll announce what homework has been given for you guys, so we have some projects to do over the week. Yeah, this is the only place that I've ever heard people excited about homework. By the way, like it's hilarious to me, but yeah, it's essentially you're going to be given two quests, and you can decide which quest you want to do, and then show off your work the next week, so that we have a little bit more like community feedback back and forth during these streams. I would love to be able to do so yeah, you guys will see. You'll see what sort of quests we got going or I got in mind for you guys. But otherwise, the only other real announcement that I have is that I do have a new Sage comic coming out that's a collaboration with a couple different artists actually. I'll be getting into that probably towards March as well. But here's the thing about it: that it's Sage's birthday tomorrow. So it is one of those things where if you wanted to do anything related to her and her birthday, you're welcome to. I'm always open to receiving any sort of sage commissions and stuff from you guys too. So if you got a request or anything you want to do related to either her birthday or Valentine's Day, we can do that today as well. But otherwise, we'll be focusing on fantasy because it is Fantasy February. And that means that we will be diving into Phantasma and all the fantasy world stuff that we've all built together. We have a couple of things to show first, before we start, really getting into things. We have one mood board that is for the fantasy. Uh, the fantasy February. We basically made a mood board of everything that we built over the last year. And we were playing around with this last stream, but you guys are more than welcome to start playing with it now. And I'm going to just prompt it right here. So let's zoom on in to VC Create and take a look. So and I can see Sage is already coming in. Thank you guys for that. That's awesome. But we're going to do just a animated fantasy film because essentially my logic when it comes to prompting is I'm trying to make whatever's the thing that I am intending to see as the final product. So if I want an action scene, I probably want to say that I'm watching an action movie, like that kind of stuff. So let's just say this is an animated film, and I'm going to set the aspect ratio to 16:9. And then let's call it an animated fantasy film, just to kind of double down our intent here. And then I'm going to include the profile code that was made with all the images that we have, or just at least the best choices or best cuts, I would say, of all the fantasy stuff we've made over the last year. And so I'll post that now. And so you guys can then take this profile code and either throw your own characters in there, or you can start to develop entire stories like we were doing on last stream. Because on the last stream we actually dug into a little bit of the gnome code stuff. Let me find that really quick on our server here. Yes, it was. We posted it in comics here. I was really happy with the results of last stream actually, because on the last stream we started doing these comics. I got to scroll past the sushi's talk for Lolo soon here real quick, but if we look at, let's see, there it is. Okay, so this is what we had gotten done during the last stream. We had Gnome interacting with this kind of like Yeti wizard guy, and it was a lot of fun just to make this, not just because like we are starting off with a single image of Gnome and then spanning off of her with the Yeti and seeing how Midjourney interpolates this sort of interaction between these two characters. But while that was happening, Reveille here was doing it at the same time that I was, and continuing the story as I was telling it. Like this is like one of those things where we've had the expectation that people would do this. These sort of exquisite corpses of AI generated imagery where we can work at the same time together. And seeing Reveille kind of fulfill that for me was awesome. I just absolutely loved these results here. So that's the kind of stuff that we'll be getting into through this stream here, is just how to use your characters and how to use Midjourney in a way that feels, not just feels, but where you actually retain more control by using everything from like style references to profile codes. We'll be getting into all that today. But I do want to hear how your all's day's going on VC Text here. So I'm just going to read a couple of these real quick. I see Celeste's like, oh, well, happy belated birthday from you're turning 50, Hillgarden. Well, congratulations. That's a big number. That's awesome. When my father turned 50, it was like a big deal. He made a big deal out of it. Everyone had to come for that one. Let's see here. It's I just turned 40 last year, which seems to have further boosted my creative ventures. Right? There's something about hitting certain like age benchmarks that makes you go back to your passions like so much more. For me, it was definitely in my mid 30s. I was like, okay, all right, I got to get back into arts again and just start doing stuff. But Yeah, awesome. So at this point, I think inside of VC Create here, let's see if this had prompted it all for us. It did not. Oh, wait, did it? Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, so I just want to kind of explain exactly what's happening here with the profile code for the fantasy stuff, because you're going to see some pretty wicked results that come off of this profile code. They are because of people like Rhapsody and oh man, just so I troll for you and Fungi Mancer and just so many other awesome contributors to the fantasy project really has shown the results of it inside of this mood board. So I'm curious to see what you guys are able to make with it. But you could see that essentially the fantasy theming is coming through the prompt itself, but the rules of the artwork are being demonstrated through the mood board. So it's a lot easier to get the results you might be intending without necessarily having to describe every aspect of it. So let's go ahead and start to play around with this here. So let's see. Actually, I see Gompasta has already thrown their OC into Phantasma's mood board here, and that's just so cool to see. Just instantly, you guys are just in the world doing things and exploring it like you're seeing here with Nia here. That is awesome. So we can take any of our characters and start to do this sort of wicked cinematic fantasy anime, as I'm seeing Legal Beagle describe it as here. That's awesome. The mood board isn't as muted as I was expecting, given the original SREF, right? Yeah, it's certainly true that you really gotta experiment with this stuff to get an idea of what exactly is your style references going to be doing when you add that on top of your mood boards, because it's for me, certain mood boards behave differently with comic book style references than others. The Phantasma one, this one, the fantasy one, it doesn't really take the concept of comic panels very well. It understands speech bubbles fine, but it just doesn't really want to produce reliable speech panels, like comic panels. So I will switch to a different mood board when I expand off of these and start turning them into comics. So if we take a look at, I'm going to actually go back up to this one here. So the Wicked Cinematic Fantasy Anime, right? You'll notice that Niji is not on for this. He just described it as an anime, and version 6.1 is like, like whenever we apply any sort of codes that would essentially limit this, like if I add Niji to the end of this, right? Yes, it's going to guarantee a more anime result, but you're actually limiting the data set by doing that. So it's you get a lot more robust imagery and also much better in paints when it comes to actually understanding the what do you call it, to understanding the like the physicality or the depth of the image much better than it would be with Niji. So it oftentimes, like for example, Gnome is a very short character. To if I run her with Niji, it quite often tries to make her more of a adult humanoid sort of shape, and that's not true when running for version 6.1. It just understands her anatomy a little better in that regard. So there's a lot of experimenting that has to be done, but I mostly recommend playing around with not messing with Niji until your character only works with Niji. That's essentially the only limitation I have, because the mood board does so much work to create that aesthetic already, the anime aesthetic, on top of describing it as such. So you can see Legal Beagle actually ran a style reference here of Phantasma, right? These are the Phantasma boards, the original 3 boards that we came up with to kind of help the results before we had mood boards. And the essentially you can see that it's far more effective, because like the results of doing that, let's just pull up that one from Legal Beagle really quick here. Here you go. See, there is no story, there's no comic panels here. It's not making multiple panels like it would if we then combined it with this profile code, which Gompasta did. And now suddenly it's a reliable comic in terms of the construction of it. There's gutters, there's this all sorts of other elements that are comic book elements in here. Those are all well captured because the profile codes are now being mixed together. And if you don't mind me asking, Gompasta, which is this just like a generic comic or manga mood board, or is I'm just curious what's in it. Um, the We can't actually find out what's inside, quote unquote, inside these mood board codes, unless we have the M code. So it's a lot easier just to ask most of the time. I know, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me know. It is a generic comic one. Awesome. So now, if we take a look at what Legal Beagle is doing here as
The
well, it's
URLs when I can.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll link everything here in just a second. The But again, it's the Phantasma style reference, but now he's put multiple comic panels depicting a wicked fantasy anime, and we are we're back to showing multiple panels of a potentially the same cinematic scene, and without having to use Niji or anything like that to do it. So there's a couple approaches to it, but generally speaking, you're either going to combine Phantasma with a mood board that's appropriate for your intent, like either comics, or maybe you're making a children's book, so you'll lean more towards children's book. The Phantasma mood board will largely add just pretty fantasy theming to your imagery. So and I appreciate Gompas. Thank you so much for sharing that. And while I got the text chat open here, I'll say that that we do have a server that you guys are more than welcome to join. It's called Gnarly Studios, and it is where we not just share the stuff that we're making, but it's where we collaborate and we post our characters. Most importantly, actually. So if you check this out here, we have the Gnarly Studios server, and then inside of here we have various different channels that you guys can contribute to. We have the character portal, which is just the central hub for all the characters that we've kind of come up with on the stream over the last what year and a half that we've been doing this. And there's so many of them. So if you do not have a character yet, you're more than welcome to join our server. Kinky just shared it on VC text here. You're welcome to join. We're only 25 members, no, 24 members now from 2000. That's awesome. But you can see just the sheer number of characters that have been submitted is enormous. So if you guys are looking for just something to hop right into and to start messing with, then yeah, check that out. There's tons of characters there to start playing with, like Veradros here. Which we featured, I think, 2 streams ago when we focused on uh, uh, one of the other Vilmir. That's it. It was Vilmir and Veradros. That was the 2 names. All Ural's wacky anime names. Having to memorize them is a little bit of a challenge sometimes. Here, yes, Festus. There we go. Yeah, Festus Vilmer. Combining all these characters together has been just so much fun, and there's a weird spot in my brain now that's just saved to like random anime names and AI generated characters. So it's awesome. But you can see the official Vic one is here. And what's awesome about the character portal is that you get notified if you submit the character. You get notified every time someone makes a change or uses your character in a way, because they'll be posting it to the board to show not just you but also everyone else what they've done. So the character portal is a great way to not just collaborate but also to kind of see your characters come to life in all sorts of different directions. We also have the Fantasy Nexus, which is what we're going to be contributing mostly to today. And it's going to be largely, I feel like, a couple different locations within Phantasma we'll be exploring. I think the main thing is that there is a couple of resources inside of here that might be useful to you guys, including we have they're not villains, they're like the guards of Phantasma, the nards. The nards are basically just low rent, low effort goons, right? So you guys are welcome to start like messing around with this character just by clicking into it and clicking on the either one of the example prompts and just start iterating off of that, or you can use the actual character reference that we've provided here. So if I now hop back over and say, look, they're already doing it. Oh my God, Fungi Mancer's already going ham with the Nards here. You can basically just start to develop the story with us all together at the same time. So it's just neat that I'm talking about this stuff, and the first thing I open is just Fungi Mancer doing exactly what I was gonna do. That's amazing. Yeah, a bunch of drunkard gnomes is the standard when it comes to those guys. Oh wow, some of these panels are amazing. That you guys are able to get this level of continuity. Like I love the fourth one here, the one where she's kind of down. Oh hi Rhapsody, thanks for joining. It's good to see you. The let's see here. I'm curious. So we see multiple panel fantasy manga comic, a dramatic reveal, and yeah, anytime we incorporate this sort of manga aesthetic and stuff like that, it is kind of awesome how much it covers up certain amounts of like the AI slop, right? When you specifically ask for a medium like this, but it depends on the medium, very much does. Like rough black ink, for example, looks great. But then as soon as we start doing watercolors and stuff, it does look good, but I start to see like sort of like anime artifacts and stuff. Okay, so he says multiple comic panel fantasy manga. One gnome wizard experiencing spontaneous levitation after a miscast spell. This is awesome, not just because of the premise and whatnot, but also because um, uh, the spontaneous levitation is a prompt that I've recommended to you guys before because it really does some fun stuff with your character references. It throws them up in the air. It does like all like basically action scenes are more likely to happen with spontaneous levitation. So it's a fun way to kind of bounce off the initial image and then go from there and kind of explain why your character is randomly floating or being thrown into the air or whatever. Um, just describing, hey, my character is being thrown is oftentimes not enough to really illustrate what we're actually, imagining when we think of like, like say like an action scene in like DBZ or something like that when a character punches or throws another one in the air. It'll more likely take it like, oh, we're going to like gently launch you or whatever, gently, throw you up or whatever. Sorry, if you want to do something extreme, if you want to do something like characters being like kicked around, punched around, that kind of thing. I've actually already done that with Vic before, and it's a lot of fun. So look at this. Just hopping the characters in the air and seeing and trying to reason why they are doing it is part of the fun of the spontaneous levitation prompt. But inside the character portal, if we look at Vic's here, there's actually inside of I try to link all my prompts so it's really easy to get into them like we're doing here. Extreme force perspective, spontaneous levitation. Two people in an anime fight. One person is thrown against the wall as rubble and debris. I said degree instead of debris. That's funny. Break away from the impact of their body. And then the Phantasma mood board and version 6.1 with a character reference of Vic. So let's change the character reference, but run this prompt again, just so we can get some action scenes going on. So if we look at this, we'll do /imagine on VC Create here. And now we want to just swap out the character reference here because we don't need Vic. We want probably a fantasy appropriate character, okay? So I have a couple lined up here already. I'm going to go with Tanner's character here. And just so that it's said, I want to make sure I got her name right here. Because the more I say it, the more likely I won't forget it. So we have Florentia. Is it Florentia or Florentia? You're not here to vocalize it, so it probably won't help when you change the or when you have the pronunciation ready for me. But we're gonna work with this character today. I'm just gonna use this sheet from her. So let's copy that link, and then we are going to Florentia. Florentia. Okay, Florentia. Got it. Now we're gonna paste that link where the cref is here. Okay, so we've replaced that link, and we're gonna say two people in an anime fight. Ba 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 ba. But like the thing is that with Florencia, she's not. She doesn't really seem like much of an anime fighter, right? Like that's it's gonna be kind of a funny imagery of her being thrown around like that. So we might want to do a backup character for this bit. Like if we did someone who is maybe a little more action oriented, like Verna here from Lolosoon. Let's do that, and then we'll do Florencia kind of watching what's happening, like she's just reacting to it. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to grab the character reference from here. And then we will go ahead and replace this one more time. Boop. And then we'll do Florencia after this as the secondary character in here. And then I'm going to hit enter here and we'll see. So it's going to be like a Coliseum fight or something like that. And we'll see how it goes. All right. I see that we got a couple gnomes here already coming in. And for those that don't know, gnome is from my is inspired by my friend Fran, who makes the comic series Tiffany Eve. That is it's a really great series. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. You can just Google Tiffany Eve and you'll find it. But the we do have a new version of Gnome to show off as well that we were messing with last stream. You can find her inside the Fantasy Nexus as well. So if we check out the Gnarly Studios server and then go to Fantasy Nexus, you'll find Gnome version 3.1 in there. And then on the very, very bottom of it, we have the this new test model that I have of Gnome. A lot of people, particularly Fran, was mentioning that she gets really grumpy with her current style reference, like her current character reference, and it's because of her disposition, right? As well as when we did all the mouths and all the different vocalizations for her, we noticed that there's just a lot of her yelling. So we probably need to redo a couple of these things. But what's cool about this, guys, is it aired, Vic. Okay, hold on. Let me see. What aired here. Um, Where did it air? Okay, yes, it did air. You're right. I screwed up the character reference. I put two links instead of one. Two links! Let's get rid of this one. Oh, I put three links. My bad. My bad, I guess. Oh, no, I put double cref. My bad. That's it. Okay, now we're good. Thank you for that. So, and that should be rendering. Yes, it is. Okay. So if we go ahead and use this as the cref, we will get a new version of her, but it's still not perfect. I really need to do some more tweaks on this exact image here because yes, it saves her proportions really well, but it also, I've noticed the trend of where she's just kind of like teary eyed and crying a lot. So I will tweak with proper expressions with her. That was just the result of yesterday's or last week's stream. Um, I'm liking all this here. This is fun. But we can see an extreme force perspective, spontaneous levitation, two people in an anime fight. One person is thrown against the wall as rubble debris break away. That's right. I didn't fix the word degree, but that's fine. Let's take a look at what we got here. So is Niji turn? No, okay. So this might be one of the instances where we start off with the Niji panel and we go from there just to see if we can kind of exaggerate this a little bit. Some of these are good, like initial results, but you'll notice that I'm asking for specifically two people. And those two people will create basically two chances to get a good result with our character because we just pick whichever one we want and then we will in paint the other one with a different character. So that's how I make my comics. I literally will prompt for two people, and usually it's the same person just done twice. And then we replace that whichever one is the least usable or just inspires me the least with Michael or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like just to kind of get us some interactions between two characters here. But you can see that a lot of folks are using the main GNOME code here, which is many, many links that are drawn by an artist here. And it's fantastic stuff. I love all the work that she did. But as we move on, with the development of Phantasma and stuff, we were moving farther and farther away from the Linclair clean art line style and moving more towards what AI is really good at doing, which is these, high dynamic, high depth environmental like effects and just gorgeousness. We weren't really getting that very much off of the version 3.1. So when it comes to the main differences with the version 4 here, which is what I think Gompast is using here, yep, is that it gives us more recognized depth of the character in shape and form. So like if we compare, say, one of these results here, yes, we definitely get more cartoony exaggerations, but if you look at the actual like quality of the backgrounds of the lighting and all that sort of stuff, and especially of the effect that the CREF has on the result, it tends to murky it up a lot, and that was an unfortunate byproduct of working with the clean art style CREF. So by redoing it and providing a CREF that actually has all these depths recognized, like if I take a look at the actual image here of Gnome, you'll notice that there is subtle gradients or subtle noise that helps dictate the depth of things. Like for example, this shadow that is here on her belly is actually a slightly darker shadow than what's on her back here, evoking a more depth in her belly versus how far she's leaned in on here. These are all things that are subconscious to us when we look at it, but for the AI models, like it really makes a difference in understanding the character. So when CREF got released, the recommendation was to use AI images, for your CREF for this reason, I believe. Like it comes down to just an understanding of depth is a lot better represented with something that's made with depth in mind, as opposed to, how most artists would look at shading and depth as being, this is where the shadows are this color. It doesn't work like that. It looks at it and goes, the shadow, like this shadow is supposed to represent, a certain depth of distance, and therefore the gradient will reflect that depth that's there. So if we now look at this like spontaneous fighting here, we got one from Nixie, we got a couple, but I wanted to show what, let's see, Fractal Bob did Niji with 1,000, and looks gorgeous, of course, as most do with the 1,000 style, but it does drastically change the rendering style every time you do that. Like, and that's really what is my cautionary tale, is that you'll get some really gorgeous one shots, but in terms of making it consistent across multiple runs, the higher stylization is, the harder it is actually. But we can see that, let's take a look at my result here. Where is mine? There's a lot of different ones here. Okay, so this was the spontaneous levitation and fight scene. Okay, so you can see that she's kind of like floating up here, and we have her actually in the air for this one. We could totally in-paint the left side here with the characters over the shoulder, so that's kind of like a reacting of her coming down like this. So I'll just do that one really quick. It's not that much fantasy, honestly, but we'll get into it. We'll see what happens here. So we have this image, and now I will take an over the shoulder of a different character to create this moment. So we can come into our character portal here, and the more robust characters, the ones that have a lot of contributions to them, tend to have multiple elements to their sheets. So like you can like grab a quick over the shoulder. So let's take a look at some of these here. Like for example, we have Leela from Alistair here. We have a couple different poses and angles from her, mostly profile shots. They did a really fun little video of their character, and it was really, you're welcome to check it out. Just go to the character portal and check out their video. But I gave a couple critiques and stuff for it. But you notice that almost all these images do not show her like over the shoulder. It's either a profile shot or her from the front. So we can either make one, or we can find a character that already has an over the shoulder shot. I'll probably do both, but let's go ahead and grab. I know Vic has plenty of them, right? But what Flora certainly does. Flora is one of our most popular characters. You can see Vic and Flora here fighting an artifact in some deep, cave somewhere. Um, and there's a couple of shots of her back, which is what we really need in order to sell Flora here. But we do have this one here, which is the actual, like, what we've established as the over the shoulder for her. You notice that it has her hair floop, it has a little bit of her eye, but it is not a perfect back view, and that's what we want. This is what I would say is by definition an over the shoulder shot, because we can now take this character reference, just this image, this one image, and we can now bring it into this shot here and say, let's just inpaint everything of this other character that we don't want. This one right here. Make sure we kind of come to the corner of the image here. And then I'm going to replace this CREF with Flora's over the shoulder. And then I'm going to describe this as she is looking up in terror. Sure, like this, like a fear response to whatever this is happening here. And if we want to see what the difference is here, because we're using the Phantasma mood board, I'm going to do one without Niji 6 as well, and we'll compare the two results. Okay, all right. So I'm not surprised we didn't get the Terror that much represented, but we definitely get her represented into here. So we definitely have her. Oops, not that one. There's some really fun ones of Gnome though. So we have her here, and you can see that it because of the character reference is so strong, it's going to ignore like tons of your prompts. It's just going to do that. But we are able to hone this in now. Now that we have Flora in the shot, we could make her arms pop out like like reacting in a way that's just like spooked or reaction in fear or whatever we want to do. So I want to find one. Let's do yeah, let's do this second one here. And now that we have Flora in this shot, we actually do not need the character reference necessarily, because we have so much already represented. We want to basically bypass how strong this character reference is here. So we can either take it out or we can add a character weight. So if I say character weight 0 and then highlight her face here, because if we're going to try to get her to react in terror, we want to focus on two things: her face and her hands, right? Like maybe splay the legs a little bit to be like 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 kind of like a crab stance, kind of thing. But we're just going to focus on her limbs and her face for this. And the reason I am running the character weight at 0 is that will basically make this character reference only focus at the basically have the influence of the prompt so much more inside of our result, because we have so much less weight applied to the over the shoulder shot here. So let's see how this goes. Another option, because we have Flora already inside of the mood board for Phantasma here, we can actually take her out entirely if we wanted to, like the character reference and the character weight. Both of them have to be removed. And now, because she's already in that mood board, it has a good chance of creating reactions that are complementary to what we're doing. So let's compare the two results here. And because we're not using the what is it, the character reference anymore, we're far more likely to get more variation from her posing because of that. So let's take a look here. All right, so we have her arms now a little bit splayed out. She does look up a little bit, but she's quite surprised in that result here. So let's go ahead and do the second one here. Boop. And again, this is what happens when you remove the character reference and there's already your character represented in your mood board. We've seen this happen a couple times where we're getting more like interesting reliability by doing it this way rather than relying entirely on character references, which has to use a character sheet, and those character sheets tend to be rather specific. So like if you need your character running, you probably want to use a character reference of your character running to get the best or to retain the most intent of what you're making. Not required, because we can use like a lower character weight and basically fudge it that way. But the mood board really does a great job just kind of capturing the moment and allowing the characters to morph and distort in ways that are believable and usable. It's oftentimes as we drop the character weight, we end up in a situation where the where we lose too much of the character and we start to like move too far away. This is the best of both worlds in my opinion, is by using the mood boards that feature your characters already in them. So here now she's got her arms splayed out, she's spooked by this scene. So we got this moment here, and the thing is that if I wanted to say expand this out and make this into potentially a comic book scene, we could use the Discord here to do that by using custom zoom, and we could also use the website in order to do this with more control, but we'll do this inside of Discord first. So I'm going to hit custom zoom, and then I'm going to set the zoom to 1, and then I'm going to set the aspect ratio to something pretty tall. So we're basically trying to turn this one panel image into 3. So that means that we'll be changing from 3:2 to 1:2. So now it'll be 3 panels stacked on top of each other. But the only reason why this works is because we set the zoom to 1. So it's not actually going to zoom. It's just going to change the aspect ratio of our canvas by doing this. And so we have this all here. She is, and now we just need to describe what we want the rest of the comic to look like. Okay. And we'll probably end up mixing in a couple new mood boards to kind of reinforce that we want a comic here. But let's just say multiple comic panels depicting. Let's also grab the name of this character here. Let me see here. Not Flora. We want the Bat girl. Yeah, Verna here. So I am going to say because this is a villain from Lolo. I am going to grab this as multiple panels depicting the villain landing in front of her. And we could even add more context of like during a disaster or during the Great Escape or stopping her from whatever. Just we're gonna start with this just to see what we get. But because we are expanding out and creating multiple comic panels, I'm going to warn ahead of time that by running this prompt as is, Niji 6 tends to not do this very well. It tends to do it better with base Midjourney. So we're going to do that prompt again, but this time just delete Niji 6 from the result, or from the prompt here. And I'm doing this mostly to compare with you guys to show you the differences between what happens with these two. Oh no, don't put that that weird Ninja Turtle My Little Pony face from the server onto that character. That is, I won't even link it. It's awful. But yes, we inside. Whoa, is she coming down from space? Oh my god, that is amazing. Okay, hold on. Legal Beagle, you gotta save this one for me later. I gotta show this to Fran. That is amazing. But essentially, what oh wow, I got completely derailed by that. That's great. I want to use. I already know where I'm going to use that image. But you can see here that we have from the Niji 6 one, the multiple comics prompt when you zoom out of it is very random. Like it's very random. It'll maybe get you 1 or 2 useful things when you keep re-rolling them and hope for the best. But now let's compare the version 6.1 version of it here. Okay, so we definitely got into Chaos Land with this though. So it's not what I wanted to show you guys, but let's take a look. Okay, so we have a whole scene here. And we can see that the mood board from Phantasma is taking over intensely here. It's not creating multiple panels at all. It's just all fantasy. This is what I was warning about earlier too. So if I now grab the mood board that we saw was really successful, like this one here, the K9 alt, I think that was pretty decent. Let's actually grab one from Gompasta here. The one inside of VC Text that they linked. There it is. So we'll open that up here and we'll take a look at what mood boards look like. Okay. So here is the mood board for Anime Comic from Gompasta. And you can see there's a couple of Vics right at the top. I appreciate seeing that. But all of these results here are just going to reinforce that we want comic panels. This is perfect. So I will say use in prompt, and that will give me the code for it. We'll get an abbreviated one after we run the first prompt on this. But now, let's try running this result that was all like, it didn't give us a single comic panel. Let's re-roll this one, but this time we'll include the profile code for Gompastas in here. And this is something that I feel like trips people up too. It tripped me up when I first learned about it. The order of the profile codes matter. So if you put, Phantasma first and Gompasta's comic one second, it'll have different results than if you did it vice versa. So we're going to do both here and take a look at which one is better. At least subjectively right off the bat. So let's see. I'm going to have these both open so we can just take a look side by side here. Okay, that was the original. Here are these two. Okay. And then I'm going to get rid of all these additional panels here because they're starting to slow down my computer. There you go. Okay. So, with the... let's take a look at this one. Yes, the first order is with Phantasma at the front, and then the second one is Phantasma in the back. So, or front to back on prompts. So let's take a look. We didn't get many panels. We got basically the first two results are panels, and they're on this one. But on this one, almost all of them are panels, and this is because we put Gompastas first on the list. I think that would be. I don't actually know if the order is that linear, but I think we're getting better results when it comes to doing that with this order here. So let's go ahead and re-roll this one. But this time I'm going to say that this is, we're going to include a character reference on top of that. So let's do the villain character here. Grab her character reference. And now that we know that we're getting decent comic panels and all that stuff out of these results, I'm going to post the CREF for the villain character here. The villain landing in front of her. And now I am actually, because this is just how strong character referencing is, I can actually set a chaos of 100. I can maximize the chaos of this result in order to try to create as many unique but forcing the same character into the shots as possible. And doing this is at least with some mood boards, it just ridiculous results that we get off of just amping the chaos up of so many things that are reinforcing the final art style, right? So with a chaos of 100 on these panels here, we got some close-ups of her, and we got basically like a bat form. I do like the second one quite a lot though. Let's go ahead and drop the chaos a bit and see if we get any more interesting shots. Let's just go down to 5. We'll go from 100 to 5 and then take it from there. All right, and I see there's a message for me on VC text. Thank you for posting the Tiffany of Comics series. Thank you, Ancient. Let's see. She's going to be a superhero landing. Yeah, we're going to need that superhero landing for sure. Okay, all right. This is awesome. So now that I have run this and we've kind of started proving this stuff, look at these results here of her coming down and interacting with her. We have a couple different panels of her talking and chatting. We have her yelling out as she's coming down. This is great. Did you say falling down? I don't think so. Yes, you ran some Pika Labs on that. That's awesome. She's just being sent away to heaven. But yes, so if we take any of these results here, we could start to crop together a story out of this. Bert, don't. But you said no, Bert, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Um, okay, all right. So I mostly wanted to show you guys how to do that entirely in Discord, right? How to do these like moving, zooming, changing of your parameters as you iterate with this is super important. It just lets you be able to really make full use of your Midjourney account. Okay, but in terms of developing like a story out of this, something usable out of this, we really need to first decide what we're going to do. Like what or do we have a script? Do we have a plot in mind and whatnot? And we do have a fantasy plot in mind that we'll be getting into. I think in the next like 5 minutes or so, we're gonna start diving into some of the fantasy stuff that Fran has written out for you guys ahead of time. But it is something that I am curious to see how you guys incorporate your characters into this, um, and then we'll just go from there. But Kinky, are you around? I wanted to see if you were down to do some announcements. All right, we'll get that. We'll do that here in a little bit. So the
I'm
main thing.
sorry, this computer is being
Oh,
really, really trashy right now.
it's okay. Do you want to do it later?
No, I can do it now.
Okay.
So definitely. I was trying to get my microphone unmuted, but I'm on a different computer today. So hi, I'm Kinky Kong. You may know me from such things as Victor Normali's character workshop. I am here to talk to you guys today about prompt battles and how you should talk to your children about prompt battles before they learn about it on the street. I would like to invite you to come play some prompt battles tomorrow, if you'd like, or on Sunday. We do that every Saturday and every Sunday from 3:30 p.m. on Saturday Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, and then we also do it on Sunday from 10 a.m. Eastern to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to give you some links to that so that you can see them. Oh, my copy pasta is in my other computer, so it's just taking me a little bit longer. So talking away to try to cover up the fact that I'm taking longer. But you'll never know because I'm very inconspicuous. Uh, what we do at prompt battles is we all prompt the same idea for 10 minutes in the way that we want to do it, and we then come back with our images and we put them into something called the poll unit. And that poll unit gives us a chance to see everything at the same time without knowing who did it and vote for those images. And whoever wins that vote gets a free fast hour. And not only do you get free fast hours for playing, you get them for participating. And who knows how long the relaxathon is going to last. So you might want to get some fast hours stacked up. We do that every weekend and it's really fun and everybody's really nice and you learn how to prompt and you do you learn how to prompt things that you never thought you would, and it's very inspiring. It's great. I hope that you guys show up and meet everybody there. A lot of the people here might be there. Come on down. And I think that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you so much, Kinky. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry it took me so long to get the mic
No,
working, but
no, you're
yeah, I
good.
was
You're
like,
good.
no.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Um, the it is thank you so much for this. I want to reiterate too. Yeah, go to prompt battles. It is a lot of fun and it's a great way to learn. Just seeing all the different ways people do things. So
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. I've been seeing Lolo soon messing with the Nards. Wanted a comic book a comic page book, multiple comic panels depicting a gnome guard army occupying the streets. Niji 6, CRF of the Nards. This is awesome. I love it. I love this depiction of them too. That's great. Can I jump on?
Hey, Victor.
Yeah, yeah. Legal Beagle. Do you
Oh,
want to?
I was gonna tell you what Legal Beagle was gonna say, so
Yeah,
you already
yeah.
got it.
You're more than welcome to. Do you want to hop on right now? If so, do it. Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
he's way up.
Yeah.
Hey.
I gotta go get the things that I want to post to, but we're doing some neat things coming up in Promptcraft Live, which is on Thursdays at 11 Eastern time. I know it's during the workday for a number of people, but we've got some interesting. They're interesting enough that I took off of work in order to make sure it had my full attention. Specifically, next week, where did the visa text? We've got Craft Live. We're doing another deep dive into patchwork, and I have a secret special guest coming to talk with me about patchwork. You don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, I'm excited
I
for it.
can't. Yeah, it's. I'm not announcing who it is, but it's worth definitely worth coming to. And then after that, the following week, we're going to have Funuckle, who's you've had on your during your workshop before.
Oh yeah, Funuckle's great.
He's one of the heads of community here at Midjourney, and she's an artist in her own right and does a lot of her own stuff. So I'm excited to feature her a bit there, and then in a few weeks we're going to talking about gardening and getting ourselves set up for the spring with Potato Propagator.
Yeah.
And he's new to the gnarly crew, and love having him. And I'm really excited to kind of intersect Midjourney with something with a different kind of art and growing and creating and kind of spreading that. Keep your expectations high. Where this is going to be great. My plan right now is to do one-on-one with Potato, helping me set up my own garden, and we can prompt it. But it's going to be great. There's going to be a whole lot of getting our hands dirty in theoretical sense. So,
I'm excited
thank
that
you.
I'm excited that Potato Propagator is here too. Thank you so much for joining, and yeah, I'm excited for your stream, man. It's gonna be fun. March 13th.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on stage. The what is it? I do want to mention too that I have to give props to Funuckle for making band posters for my one of my favorite bands in Chicago. It is just so cool to be like looking at her previous work before Midjourney and going like, wait a minute, I recognize this band. Wait, what? Just being all like geeking out over Machine Girl. Yeah, that was awesome. So and we actually did her stream was focused on using her art as a style reference and then doing void prompts where we just do empty quotes and see what Midjourney gives us. It's such a fun way to dive into stuff. But for today, I see that Gompasta is using the character turnaround sheet to start to create some unique fantasy characters for whatever we get into next. And if you do not have a original character yet, this is actually probably something I should have done much earlier in the stream. We always start off with some sort of character development that we do here. There's been so much from you guys lately that it's been easy for me to skip this step, honestly. But Golden Pasta is knocking it out of the park with their character turnaround sheet here. So if you do not have a character yet, I'm going to go ahead and link the this actual message inside of VC text. So it'll be if you do not have a character yet, start here. Okay. And the idea is that you can put any sort of fantasy character premise on top of this because it is combined. Yeah, it is combined with the Phantasma and the character turnaround sheet. It's going to give you stuff that's compatible with Phantasma, and that's huge because the quality of the line art and the quality of the just a lot of the aesthetic choices that goes into your turnarounds are going to reflect in the final result. This is the issue we had with GNOME 3.1 was the fact that as we developed the Phantasma more and more, we were moving away from that clean art style, and she was actually holding back a little bit of the results. And so this is how we made the new version of GNOME, and this is actually how you guys can bring in your own characters and start to develop your own characters. So let's do fantasy anime character turnaround, but let's start to describe what kind of character we want. Okay, so let's just say that this is let's do a red hobgoblin. It's a choice. You don't have to. You can give them a name inside of your prompt. It doesn't really affect much, right? So we'll just do it's a red hobgoblin named Fred, and he is a fantasy anime. This is a fantasy anime character turnaround. We can give him like a weapon or a class on top of that. So red hobgoblin named Fred, paladin. Let's make him a paladin, and we will just submit that and see what we get. Because of the Niji 6 data like that's on there, let's actually run one as well where we don't have Niji 6 on. I'm curious though, please use that prompt in order to make your own characters, and we will use those characters right now for whatever whatever we get into. So I have some homework that we'll be detailing here, and we can just kind of see what we make with that. So let's see what the red hobgoblin, did that result come through? Let's see. Where is mine? Probably higher up. Or did it not render? sometimes my turbos will go too quick. Is this using a mood board or a profile? I know it's a little confusing because they both use the same parameter, the profile. This is all using a mood board. And sometimes multiple mood boards. Oh, okay, yes. It made it just a red-haired character. I see. Okay, thank you. Let me go back. Okay. There it is. Okay. So you can notice that because of just how reinforced the generic anime character is inside of Niji 6 especially, we are going to try removing Niji 6 now to make it less humanoid and less, well, it's going to be humanoid, but less, here's the anime protagonist, right? Let's see what we get off of this. Okay, all right, we're much closer to a hobgoblin at this point. We definitely but we got to describe him as having red skin, I feel like, but this is way better right off the bat. So let's do red skin. I'm imagining the hobgoblin character from Baldur's Gate right now. If I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything like that, but that's who I have in mind and who I'm going to try to see if we can recreate here. So we notice that it's still flesh tones. It's still, but it's definitely, I think the mood board, the fantasy mood board, or sorry, the character turn on mood board is so strong that it's definitely doing something here to not make that hobgoblin a thing. So let's try this. Let's try this. It's closer with version 6.1. Okay, so why don't we? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna grab that hobgoblin and we'll use it as an inspo. So yeah. What is his name? Oh, there's a couple of them. I forgot that there's a couple of red hobgoblins. Okay, it's this guy. Copy image. Okay. So if we want to use an image prompt, we can just copy an image and then get that link. This is actually for a GIF, right? So it's just an image, but it is technically a GIF. But let's use that. Oh, you guys already got, ooh. How did you get this one? Redskin Hobgoblin Monster Paladin. Okay. So I see that you just added the word monster, and that it helped encourage it. That's good. So let's go ahead and re-roll this one though. And that's right. I need to go to my version 6.1, this one here. And now I could use this as a character reference, which is going to be far more literal, but I'm actually going to paste the link at the top of this. That'll so basically make it an image prompt. Sorry, it does make it an image prompt. And then we can decide how much that image actually influences the result. So let's do image weight. That's IW. And then I'm going to set that pretty low because I don't want this literal image. I just want a inspired by this character. So or just this image. So let's do a low image weight of 0.4. Red-skinned hyphenated works better. Ooh. Okay. All right. Let's try that. Let's try putting a hyphen in there as well. Oh my god, there's so much fun stuff from you guys. This is what I love about the live iteration is I can see all your all's attempts like at doing this in different ways, and then we can pick the best ones out of the group effort. It's so cool. He looks more like a dragon in that one. And so this is with the image prompt kind of guiding the result a bit here. And it's definitely making more of the orcish look, like especially on this this third result here. That helped us get closer as well. So let's combine the efforts here. Let's grab. I love all these, by the way. Yes, this one here. I want to grab this one, and we will use this as a style reference to kind of help us hone it even more. I like this guy. I like him a lot, actually. Like he kind of, but his hair is inconsistent. You're gonna have to inpaint the left side one so his hair is long, but definitely kind of vampirish. But yeah, still fun. Let's go ahead and we have this prompt here. It gave us a pretty good result. I like that. But let's go ahead and actually we'll do a variation strong on this one, and then I'm going to post, like, we'll take out this image weight because we really don't need to be guiding this result anymore like that with this image. We can go with pasting the link and then add that as a style reference. So --sref. And a style reference on top of a mood board is a little bit confusing, I know. But what it essentially lets us do is balance the fact that we are getting a lot of backgrounds, a lot of environments and stuff into here, and we're basically going to try to get us back to these turnaround sheets, these flatter sheets here, and then we'll see what we get off of that. Okay, all right. So we definitely went in the other direction. We have a lot of background, but it is looking cool though. Like at least the hobgoblin paladin aspect is like pretty well represented in this second image here, at least in my opinion. So we could just keep re-rolling this one as a variation subtle and hone in with this character here, and if we wanted to, we could either save this, but the background is going to always be this sort of fantasy environment, and that's going to have an effect if you use this as a character reference. So either we're going to take the background out, or we are going to just accept that is a part of the effect of his character reference. I rarely do the latter. I usually just cut them out. Let's see. Thanks. Sorry, it's been a month. I haven't been able to attend to Friday. I see I have much to keep up with. There's a lot of new stuff that came out over the last month or so. So I understand. But yeah, and it's moving a little bit farther away from the paladin, I think. But let's see here. Okay, I like some of these here. Let's go with the third one here. My dog's barking. Don't bark. Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. All right. Okay. I have to convince my dog not to bark. Let's see. Okay, so we got our red-skinned paladin character here. If we wanted to at this point, I could try to do a variation subtle and take one of the actual written prompts and not rely anymore on images to kind of hopefully get us back to this like clean white background. But that's okay that we don't. We'll just for now upscale both of these. Oh, this is a cool character, Rhapsody. That is awesome. Yeah, I love coming up with just stuff on the fly here. So let's see here. Ooh, yeah. Keep exploring with her. I wanna see where you go with her. That would be fun. when it comes to anytime you like find a character that like really, inspires you and wants you to keep going with it, I highly recommend immediately trying to expand off of that character, especially if it's with a character reference attached. Like you could get an idea of like how reliable that character is across multiple frames, and just see how well it kind of like affects the quality of zooming. That's the main negative that I get with character referencing, is how often it affects zooming and in painting. So if in terms of the like line art quality and such, the mismatch that happens there can give me some headaches. So I I have been relying so much more on doing in painting with mood boards because it just gives me way cleaner results. So now that we have these two upscaled here, let's take a look which one's better. I like that one, but let's see. This one is cleaner. Like it gives us like more definite, like more clean definition of like facial features and things like that. But I like his outfit a bit more on this one. So I'm gonna go with this one here. And let's go ahead and do a variation subtle on that. And now my goal, my intent, it's important to explain what our intents are here, right? Um, feel like we are getting closer to generating Bert. You could use Bert. Yeah, you could use Bert's character as a base model for this because he's a Redskin Oni character. But let's go ahead and take out the style reference here, um, and see what we get with Niji6 now doing a variation subtle. I'm just curious how much the anime how much does the anime do? How much does the anime influence all this stuff? And we'll go from there. The anytime you do want to get less and less away from the humanoid stuff, yeah, reinforcing that it's a monster, that it's like, basically saying that this is a non-humanoid character. You want to kind of turn off character referencing at a point, because character referencing is going to always eventually come back to that humanoid shape there. Um, let's see here. Ooh, it just looks so good. So good. Um, all right, yeah, I'm gonna double back up to here. Where was my result? There it is. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we got the red skin here. The paladin we lost a little bit because we are mixing it with these sheets again, but we are getting cleaner, less messy backgrounds with that. But I'm gonna go off of the original image. We're fine with this one. Those elves are a combination of all the good mood boards and character turnaround mood boards. Oh yeah, yeah. I know you do a lot of due diligence when it comes to those, so it's very curious to see these results. Okay, now that we are, I like this shorter guy. I like the shorter squattiness. This guy looks like he's just like straight up like Megamind villain character. That's fun. But I wanna make sure we get to the next step here. So let's go ahead and grab our sheet here, our little character turnaround. I'm gonna copy this now, and just to show you guys how I do this in Photoshop, I'll be really quick about this. I promise. I'm gonna open up Photoshop, and we are just going to do a character selection to get rid of the background. Because if I use this as a character reference right now, that character will almost always be in a forested, environment because of the influence of character referencing. So we will go ahead and open up here's Photoshop. I still have to try to do the live collab thing with Rhapsody at some point, but we'll figure that out at some point. Whatever this is. But we're gonna hit new file. And you could do this technically with MS Paint and stuff. It would be a lot slower. There's probably services out there already, like third-party services. You could just go and get this sort of edge detection, object selection in your result. But the way I do it is I just grab this in Photoshop, and then I'll make a new layer, duplicate, and then just make sure that that selection is pretty decent. Like it's amazing how well this stuff works. This used to be hours upon hours of work for me to do manually back when I worked in Hollywood, and now it's literally a button click and all my work is done. But we basically make a layer for each pose, right? and we make a backup layer that we're going to mute that kind of just acts as a way for us to keep this for the future if we want to turn that on or off. So now I'll mask this one here, and there you go. We have both poses pretty well represented here. I do like I would probably clean up the gap in between the arm and the shoulder thing, or like the belt here. There's some that's going to cause some wackiness, just because it doesn't really. If I can't understand it right off the bat, the AI is not going to get it that quickly either. So this should be fine though for what our intent is. I'm going to now export that as a PNG for to make it easier. I'm just gonna copy and paste it as a flat layer, and now we will hop ourselves back over to Discord here. And now that we have a clean version of this character sheet, I can paste that into Discord. Okay. Copy that link, and now we'll throw them into Phantasma. Now that we have a red-skinned hobgoblin character. Trying to make the Baldur's Gate 3 character, yeah. If you start using him as an image prompt and you push it too much, Nixie, it'll be just straight up, I'm making Baldur's Gate fanfiction. Okay, so let's do, paste this here, add a cref parameter to the front of it. Let's say that this is a animated fantasy film, because I can't think of a premise right now. Fantasy film, aspect ratio 3:2, and then copy the Phantasma mood board code. There you go. Baldur's Gate fanfiction, also just known as D&D. Yeah, Baldur's Gate is kind of its own fanfiction. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Hobgoblin as a character reference in an animated fantasy film, and if we really wanted to kind of see how wild this gets, let's add a chaos of 100. Screw it. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at you guys already going ham with it. So I imagine you're using the background. Okay, yeah, you're using the one I provided. Nice. Yeah, and it's. I can't tell if you guys are like getting ahead of me or going to be just being faster and more efficient than me, because I have to explain stuff. But this is great. Okay, so we have animated fantasy film, and now our character is in there. We have the back and the front of the character. Keep in mind that this is what character referencing is going to do, is that if you have multiple characters in your character reference, it merges them together, but it also will oftentimes duplicate them within your shot. So if you have a ton of poses of your character in all sorts of different directions, right? Then you're going to see a bunch of your own character like showing up in the results. It's also true that the more poses that are in your character reference, the less likely you're going to get coherency or consistency of your character. So I recommend sticking to 2 or 3 poses for now. And you could always use multiple links, multiple images, that kind of thing. But let's go ahead and get Florentia in here, because I want to make sure Tanner's character gets in here too. And then I'll give you guys the homework. So we have this barbarian-like character. We have him now, Redskin Hobgoblin in an adventure action anime, cref, and then because the chaos is not been set, you can see how much it just kind of puts the character into the center of the frame, right? When I pump the chaos with animated fantasy film as just the premise, it oftentimes gives these cool 3/4, like kind of imagining a frame from a fantasy film, right? So we could do, because again we have the chaos pumped to 100. We're using version 6.1 for this. So let's say it's an animated fantasy film where the beaten down hobgoblin, beaten down hobgoblin meets the goddess of the forest. Good night, Legal Beagle. Thanks for coming. Enid. Oh, I love how I can always tell Enid. I don't have to read her name at all. I just know it's gonna be pink. You know what I mean? Like it's just great. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, I love the like this is a hobgoblin warrior or hobgoblin berserker, you know, kind of like a brute, right? I definitely see more brutish as opposed to paladin with a character with that much muscle. But the definitely barbarian, you know, a barbarian class of some sort, I guess, would fit both of these here. But you can see we have our hobgoblin sort of character here, represented multiple different times in a couple different ways here. But what I want to do is I'm actually going to re-roll this one again. We're going to see if we can get a slightly more dynamic shot out of that. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. This is from Ajax Weasel. Red-skinned hobgoblin making a fast getaway in a fantasy film. Yes. Yes, this is what I wanted to see. Okay, so I see you're combining another mood board here. Yeah, reroll. Yeah, this is all D&D stuff, right? Yeah, we're certainly rerolling now. Iconoclast for sure. Let's take a look at some of these. Ooh, fantasy volcanic magma biome. He's holding a large hammer made of glowing red rocks. Awesome. This is great. Okay, and this is my reroll here. We could easily put Florentia into this shot right here. This is gonna be perfect. Okay, so look at these two. Okay, look at these two. I love her, by the way. This is really cute, but we're gonna replace her. Okay, and I will. Ooh, Rhapsody's got some videos going. We do have some Pika Lab stuff that we'll probably do next week, which is why I'm going to give you guys homework this week, because we're going to make it anime next week. We're going to actually try to make a proper scene, a proper. We all want to punch each other. I recognize we all want to throw magical punches at each other, but I want to do something. I just want to figure out what we can do at Pika Labs for next week. But we need you guys to finish the homework first. So after I get Florentia in here, we'll give you guys a task to do for the next week. That way you guys aren't like just going ham during this stream and then forget about it and then have to dig it all back up. I want to give you guys something to actually leave here with. So but we're going to start with this one here, and we're going to grab Florentia here. There she is. Okay, copy the link to her character sheet, and now I'm going to use the web editor for this because I'm going to get more control off of that. So let's zoom on in. Okay. And then I will switch on over to my tablet, which is where I have the Midjourney app. I have the Midjourney app installed on my Windows computer. It is just a web app, right? So it's just a Chrome web app, but that means that you don't see the browser up top. It's just Midjourney. It's like using an old-fashioned, a program. I'm not dealing with the social media crap anymore. It's just give me Midjourney. So I'd recommend the just installing it. So now let's go ahead and go to our creations here. I'll hit reload. Get the most modern one up. There we go. I'm afraid to click on who we should punch, but I don't have the window open. So let's see. Enemies from the classic. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that, Ancient. I really appreciate that. Okay. Let's see here. Now that we have the Midjourney app open here, what we're going to do is we are going to just preserve whatever aspects of her down here can be used for Florentia, which is not a lot. I mean, we're talking about going from a warrior berserker kind of lady to a flower princess, right? So what I'm noticing though is that I believe we can use her eyes and her general head shape to preserve the proportions of this character, and maybe her hands, but we're going to mostly focus on the face and then go from there. Whenever we're doing this sort of iterative prompting, it is important to keep in mind that you want to tackle one task at a time. Okay, like if I just in-paint all of her here, we're just gambling at how she's going to be positioned in the frame here. But if we guide Midjourney by selectively leaving in elements of our image, we are far more likely to get the result that we intend to have. Okay, so for me, my intention is to have her standing next to him. So Let's go ahead and highlight everything that isn't Florencia. So let's go for her hair, and we're going to keep the eyes and the eyebrows and the nose. That's basically what I'm going to keep at first. And we'll see how well she performs. Now, the thing is, we want to check the silhouettes before we confirm this. So if I swap back really quickly to Florencia here, we could see that her hair is like this. It's a pretty big. It's a lot. There's a lot of hair. There's a lot of hair on her, and she's got a dress that fans outward. Okay, so that means that I probably want to inpaint a little bit more towards her waist here, and a little bit towards the back of her hair, so that her hair has space to, you know, generate as like this flowing thing. Okay. And now we get rid of the character reference. And this is so much easier on the website because everything is visualized here. So I can just get rid of the character reference by clicking the X on here. And then I'll paste Florencia's character sheet. And, oops, that's not it. Grab it. There you go. Grab her character sheet and then switch it to a character reference by clicking the little guy icon next to it. I know it's a little small. Let me zoom in here for you guys. There you go. Another reason why the web app is actually good to install is that it doesn't affect my base Chrome. So if I zoom in and out of this, it's not zooming in and out of the text and chat feed and Discord feed for you guys either. So that's nice. But okay, so we have her set to a character reference here. So we basically want to just describe the scene a little closer, a little more accurately to the character, or at least what sort of image we've made. So let's say that the goddess of the forest is standing beside the and I know he's not a redskin hobgoblin anymore, but let's just do redskin hobgoblin. Okay. And we could keep her chaos at 100 just to kind of see what sort of wacky stuff kind of comes off of this. But I will do one without the chaos set to 100 as well, so that we could take a look at that. And now keep in mind, this is a Niji character. It's a character that was designed in Niji. It probably has the best results with Niji. Gompasta, don't replace me. Yes, this is great. She's just so cute. I am regretting replacing her. It is. Let's see here. Let's go ahead, and this is the normal editor. Everyone has access to the normal editor. Yes, exactly. We're not using the advanced editor here. The external image editor is what is currently limited to everybody else. I think you need the annual subscription, or you've made at least 10,000 images. I think it's either or for that. But we are going to submit both of these here. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay. Ooh, she's looking pretty good. All right, so you can see that because of the character weight set to the default, which is 100. Ooh, I gotta open up the window here. My bad. Whoa, wrong panel. There we go. Okay. So now I wanted you guys to compare the difference between chaos and standard. Okay. You can notice that because character reference is super strong, we're not really getting a lot of difference between the two. In fact, we're just getting a lot of randomness when it comes to her outfit. Okay. So we want to pick whichever one's the closest outfit or expression to our intent. So I'm gonna say this one. Okay. The skin tone and whatnot matches much better to the scene that we're in. But the thing is that if we wanted to say use a scene where it's a lot fairer skin, like this one, right? Then what we'll do is we'll just start inpainting her face to compensate that. But this is pretty good. I like this one a lot. We could probably go with a different one too, but I'm gonna go with this one. Okay. And in terms of Florencia's outfit, I want to see that really quick here. If we look at the Gnarly Studios server here, if you do have a character in mind, or you find a character during the stream and you're like, oh, I want to use that, you can also search for them just by coming up to the top of the search inside of the character portal, and we will do Florencia. Now, I will say that when you guys spell things weird, it makes it impossible to find. I had to change Vic's name because it was so hard to search for. But the fantasy version of Vic, anyway. So we have Florentia here. You can see that there's been some AI videos of her already. I love this. This is so cool. Very, very cool. But what we can do is we can kind of confirm her outfit really quick here. So this was the image that I used, and it does actually vary pretty decent. Like we have this kind of green band inside of this tan outfit, skirt. I would probably change that for reliability's sake. But this is the master pose here. And it's really just a matter of picking which one of these outfits we want to use. Okay, this one will be the easiest to recreate out of all the outfits of her. Just because it's pretty straightforward. The strap will probably be something I want to clean up, but it is something that in general I think this result here will be the most reliable. So let's go ahead and copy that one. And now inside of the external editor here, not external editor, sorry, the base editor here inside of midjourney.com. Everyone has access. If you got a Midjourney account, you can use this. It's fine. We were talking about editing external images earlier. So let's go ahead and just select now her expression, like her face, and just anything that seems off from her outfit here. So let's paste the new character reference. There we go. And she's got different color sleeves. And her blouse is white in the front and green in the back. So let's just add a little bit of space for there to be some green in the back. Okay. And now let's run this both with standard and Niji6. Ideally, we want to find whichever one matches this character design more, and then we'll go from there. Because it doesn't really matter when it comes to the character referencing whether or not you're using either or. It's more a matter of how well the character performs, right? For me, I get way more interesting imagery with version 6.1 with most characters, but then as soon as you start to incorporate some heavy anime tropes, Niji 6 is way better at that. So it all comes down to intent. I'm curious how well this actually renders for us in real time here, because I'm using the website to get this done. So let's check out what you guys are doing while this is rendering. I'll swap ourselves back over to VC Create. There's a lot of really cool stuff already, I can tell. All right, so this is the unicorn stuff. I have to mention this because this is something where I feel like you guys could develop this into something else as well. I asked for it's Vic. It's me with this guy. Are we gonna start punching now? Just because I said that we should do stuff other than punching? But what I want to mention here is that with the unicorn stuff on our server, I had to bring this up. There is a thread called the Ghoulery from Princess Lux here, and she does some really, really fun stuff inside of here with Snoopy. It's her and Snoopy just making stuff inside of here, and there is one silly result that you guys came up with called My Scary Pony, and I gotta show it here. My Scary Pony is too damn funny to me. Here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna copy these images here and I'm just gonna paste them inside of VC text for you guys, because I was really impressed with the kind of like storytelling that I was getting right off the bat with these. So there you go. They are now inside of VC text for you to have. But that's from Princess Lux and Snoopy just deep diving into, and that's where this horrific thing comes from, by the way, Bert. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of this weird face. Happy birthday from oh, that's cute. That is cute. Okay, hold on, I gotta zoom in here. This is a birthday card from Zero to Alara, and it's just so damn cute. I love that we have this community that is able just to all collaborate and work on things together and just make each other smile in a way that I really don't think we would have been able to do in the past. So it's amazing. Yeah, is it Alara's birthday today? Is your birthday on Valentine's Day? I'm curious to know. Let's see here. I'll pop ourselves up to the chat box here. Yeah, no rush, no rush. You can just let us know. I'm curious to know if it's your birthday. Let's see about. According to Blue Sky, it is. Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday, Alara. I'm just gonna say that it's your birthday. So yeah, the day after yours is Sage's birthday, so that's a fun thing to know. Okay, let's hop ourselves now over to, I think we're gonna start getting into the homework here, because now that we have all sorts of fantasy stuff that you guys are doing, you guys are starting to place like this hobgoblin character. I love this. It's way, the red skin is way better represented in whatever this version of it is, Lolo, that you did. Let's see what it is. Yeah, that is a lot better. You did a lot better job when it comes to making a C ref specifically for this. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Yep, setting the chaos at 100. Definitely changed the cameras and the position of the character pretty significantly. That's awesome. I'm curious about some of the other, like this code here. I'm curious about that. That's awesome. So if we wanted to expand off of any one of these, it'd be quite easy. It starts to set up a scene where we can have multiple characters communicating and talking with each other, and then just ask Midjourney, hey, what are these two characters doing? You know, and that's where I use version 6.1 the most. So like, for example, like with this shot of the Hobgoblin and Victor face to face, we can just use the custom zoom and see what it does. First, we'll take out DG6. I'm going to take out the character referencing as well. I'm going to set the zoom to 1. I'm going to set this to 1.3. So this will be 3 panels preferably. So we're going to say multiple comic panels depicting an anime action fight sequence, because everybody wants that. Adventure anime action. Oh yeah, let's see, from an adventure action anime. Let's go with that. And because we set the zoom to 1, it's not going to zoom quite. It's not going to actually zoom. It's just going to change the aspect ratio. So we'll go from there. And yeah, this is one of those sort of the that first one you got where it's like Nixie here, where he's like reaching his hand out. That is awesome. Okay, let's check out our in-paints though. That's I'm gonna get back to task here really quick. I could look at pink unicorns all day, but let's go ahead and hop ourselves to Midjourney here. And you can see the difference here between using this is just the Phantasma mood board, and this is the Phantasma mood board with Niji on top. So the Niji one is certainly doll facing her a lot, right? She's very pale, and we're just fair skinned, I would say, and generally speaking, she doesn't really do much. Like, there's not a lot of movement in what she's doing, because the character reference here is her basically just staring forward, right? There's no expressions or exaggerated expressions on her face here. But then as soon as we switch to version 6.1, look at how well the lighting is better represented with the lighting of the environment. Like, it's not this sort of like forced colorization on top of this. We just get basically more accurate results to what is, the world here. So I'm going to go with this result here. I think this is a very cute result. And if we want to get that outfit pretty quick, let's take a look. So it's green. Yeah, it's pretty decent, but her sleeves need to be white as well. So let's just re-roll her sleeves really quick. And then we'll see what sort of fighting we can get done here. I'm curious what happened on our result from up here. So let's take a look. Is this experiencing levitation? That's great. I like him walking in front of the pyres though. That's awesome. Any sort of profile shots of these sort of characters is awesome. I think we need to use this character, by the way. This sort of red-skinned, like warrior brute character. I want to use him. I think we should definitely add him to the roster. Um, all right, let's take a look at my multiple panels here. This is with the zoom set to, okay. And you can see here that with all these super stretched out results, we start to like lose the scene quite quickly. Like we definitely get close of characters like doing intense stares, right? Some mostly nonsensical environmental stuff. So let's go back and we will re-roll this. Where do all the Midjourney hardcore nerds go when these workshops conclude? Nice to talk like Mike Pompeo, but lots of chats. Iconoclast. I will mention this really quick. We do have an after party where you are welcome to come and speak on the mic. It is on the Gnarly Studio server though. Otherwise, there's more than plenty of like chats inside of the the Midjourney server. You're welcome to join too. But the show after the show, the Midjourney, the Gnarly Studios meetup is definitely it's right above. You just scroll up. Just click on join here, and then as soon as this stream's over, we let everyone come on stage in order to hear from you, like to get feedback from you. And as long as you know you're polite and whatnot, you're welcome to stay and keep talking and hanging out. I think Zero, as it's Zero and CRC, I believe is his name. I forgot the exact acronym he uses. Have the longest like they stayed in for like 2 days after a stream before, and they you'll catch someone at night, probably Zero, at night hanging out, and it's just so much fun to know that there's a community of people who are doing like-minded things. So I highly recommend joining. The show after the show is a lot of fun. But what I want to do with this result here, because this whole anime fight sequence thing didn't really pan out how we were expecting, we want to, one, maybe not stretch out as much, and two, we want to make sure that we reinforce the imagery here to be comic panels, because we are not doing that at all. We don't even have a mood board attached to this. It's just kind of raw. So let's grab all of the mood boards that we had from earlier in the stream. Let's see here. Whichever one reinforced the comic panels. There's some really fun ones from you guys before we were doing the character turnarounds. Loving all this fantasy stuff, though. It's so cool to just scroll through everything and see it. There you go. Okay. Let's grab these two profiles here. This is from Lolo, so I'm not sure on the first one, but it looks like it's encouraging comic panels, so we're just going to go with it. We're going to jump on down. And then we're going to hit re-roll on this. And then paste that profile, these profile codes. So one of them is the Phantasma profile code. The other one is probably a comic panel one from Lolo. So we have multiple comic panels depicting an anime action fight sequence from an anime adventure. We're really redundant with this one. So let's do anime action fight sequence. Okay. And we could say multiple manga panels if we really want to encourage the anime in this one. And we'll hit submit on this for now, but I'm also going to go up to the original prompt and I'm going to grab this image. Okay. Copy address. And I'm going to use this as an image prompt to kind of guide our results even more. So let's take a look at what the first result looks like. Yeah, so you can see it expanded the shot here. We have a couple different characters that are now starting to peer in or look into the scene. We're not really getting many comic panels necessarily. So let's go ahead and re-roll this again. But this time let's describe the scene. I copied Gonpasta's anime prompt at one point, so credits to Gonpasta. Okay, cool. So multiple manga panels depicting anime action fight sequence. So let's do, let's first set the zoom to maybe 1:2 instead. And just so it's not as stretched out, let's also get rid of the Phantasma mood board entirely, just so that we can hopefully encourage more more paneling as opposed to just here's a nice, pretty big fantasy shot. And then we can even include the link to the previous results. So we're kind of, it feels like we're iterating off of the previous image. You can do this in a couple different ways: image weights, character referencing, style referencing, so on and so forth. But I would probably just include it as an image weight at first and then see what the results are with it relatively low, because we don't want a one-to-one recreation of the shot either. So let's do point for an image weight. Let's set to like 0.3, just a low number, and then we'll go from there. For a full list of parameters, there is a Midjourney parameter list that I would heavily recommend diving into. Just because it's going to allow you to really know what you can do with your Midjourney account. Okay, so let's go for Midjourney parameters and then wiki. I'm just Googling that for you guys really quick. And there we go. Here's a full parameters list from midjourney.com or docs.midjourney.com. Now take a look at the results that we have by using an image weight to reinforce what we want. Okay, freshly updated documents. Ooh, yay. That means I got to do some reading again. But if you look at the results, this is night and day from what we had before. Okay, so look at how much the Phantasma effect is basically trying to make it these pretty gorgeous fantasy shots, right? And then as soon as we get rid of that and we just double down on a mood board for comic panels, it look at that. That's ridiculous that we're able to get these close-ups of Victor just profile shot because it's already in the image. So why not just expand on it and then work on it? So if we just to re-roll on this one, we can start to bring up or down the image weight depending on how much we want the neighboring panels to be alike to the original result. So let's try the absolute lowest, so 0.1, okay? And let's do also one at like 2.5. So the max amount is 3, okay? Image weight is, if you're a traditional artist, image weight images as prompts probably has the most potential for you, because you can quickly doodle or sketch something and then use that as a guide to do a lot more direct communication with Midjourney in a natural language that you understand, which is art. The Midjourney actually understands that language perfectly fine, and it can deep dive into that stuff with you if you collaborate with it like a person. Bye, y'all. Gotta go get physical therapy again. Oh, take care, Snoopy. I know you've been recovering from stuff, so I really appreciate your time here, though. All right, so let's take a look at these two results here. So with an image weight set to 2.5, there's almost no panels at all. It's because there's so much reinforcement of the image that's been provided that it tries its best to just shove more of the same. The third result's the best, but it's just a stretch of that previous. But all I did was a single image ref and erased, but wow. Right? Yep, that's all you need to do. But so we have this reference here. We have this reference that's cool. But the real intent was to make multiple panels, right? And you could see that's where we're getting at with lowering the weight as much as possible. So let's try this now by adding this as a sref, and we will see basically what I'm expecting to happen here is that it will allow more flexibility without having to necessarily stick to the style that's being demonstrated here. Listen, I'm trying my best to reinforce that, yes, I not only want the same panels, I want the same world, I want the same aesthetics, so on and so forth. But when we apply a style reference over this, we are effectively doubling down on it, and it didn't work out. It looked cool, like it does. It definitely has some neat shading and effect that's applied there, but it got rid of our panels. That's not my intent. So we will re-roll this one more time, but this time, instead of a style reference, I'm actually going to include a character reference. Okay, so I'll switch it from an sref to a cref, but this time I'm going to describe it as two people because our character reference features two people in it. So multiple manga panel depicting two people in an anime action fight sequence. Okay, and then I'll hit submit. The reason why this tends to give us like more reliable results is because we are, again, doubling down our intent. We have two people we want in the shot, two people in the frame, two people in the cref, and we're just kind of seeing what we get off of that. Yeah, Hillgarden, what are you doing here? Oh, that's wacky. All right, this is way better now. You can see just the sheer value of doing this in steps. Okay, look at how much better his close-ups are. His argumentative face in that first and second result. It's so good. So let's do first and second, 1 and 2. Okay. So we got some cool reactions here. But you definitely have a panel where he's talking, like he could be the one speaking in this one, and then he's listening in this one, right? So that's 2 usable panels right there. And we can then start in painting in whatever direction we wanted this story to go. Right now there's no action sequence, right? So let's try to reinforce one. Let's go with I'm gonna go with this image here. Okay. Let's go ahead and use the web editor for this so that you guys can see what I'm doing a little more in depthly. And then we'll do the homework. But you can see that the inpaints that we got off of her sleeves, by the way, it's really reinforcing the fact that she has green sleeves. It did not want to move away from that. So we would probably choose a different serif for her on this one. But I do like it, so I'm going to upres it anyway. Let's go with this one. Okay. So now, with this image here, this is the little fight sequence here. I'm just going to reload this so that I get that panel. Okay. We have it here. And now I'm going to hit the external editor, pop us back up to here. Let's get rid of some of the underside of this because we don't need that. And now we're going to describe this as multiple manga panels depicting 2 people in an anime action fight sequence. Okay. So this is both set as an image prompt and a character reference right now. Okay. Let's get rid of the image prompt. Okay. Because we don't want to create the same composition again. We want to make a different composition. Okay. So that means the image prompt is actually fighting against us now. In order to make the intent of changing the composition, we want to get rid of the image weight for sure. So we get rid of that. We currently have the character CREF set for 2 people. It's the previous image. And we're basically just going to see how well version 6.1 handles this first. Because as soon as we turn on EG6 with this, it's going to be chaos. It probably won't work well. In my opinion, this is one of those things where it's a pretty good gamble about what works and what doesn't. So let's take a look. We just got a shirtless naked man. I like this though. Look at this sort of turned and reaction angry. That's so good. All right, let's go. I love how I say shirtless old man, and suddenly the view count jumps up 5 people. I do want to mention that real quick. Okay, so let's.
They love it.
That's because they love them, shirtless old man. Let's go ahead and hit job ID on this one. Shirtless? Where? Let's see. Let's pop ourselves over to Discord here. Okay. And I'm gonna do /show. This is how you bring prompts from one server to another. Just hit /show. Paste your job ID for whatever job you're doing. If you're only using Discord and you're not using the website, you can use the envelope emoji in order to send the job ID to you. Okay. So if you own the prompt, for example, you can just hit what do you call it? You can just hit add a reaction, and then search envelope, and there's your envelope. As soon as you hit that envelope emoji on any prompt, it sends you the job ID for that one. But what did you say here? Love these. How you got this to come out except like the other eyes on the right? What do you mean by that exactly? I mean, we could just copy these elements and bring them from one side to the other. But it is true that in terms of these sort of like face-offs, right? These sort of intense scenes, that can be a byproduct of just when you ask for an action sequence, it tends to show the villain and the. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that then. But yeah, it is certainly true that whenever we get this sort of asking for an action sequence or anything with the villain or whatnot, you're far more likely to get results that are like, oh yeah, face-to-face headshot kind of thing. So what? Basically, trying to encourage these characters to start like punching each other and stuff, or to start attacking each other in some way. We probably want to sacrifice this bottom right panel here. Okay. So let's do the editor here. Okay. This one. Nope. This one. There we go. We're gonna hit the editor, and we're gonna only select this panel right here. And I don't really want to go overboard with this. I don't want to like extend the left panel, like the second panel. I don't want to extend that one out or anything like that, because I just really want to reinforce that I have comic panels here. I don't want to do anything else to it. I just want to get these two characters to interact. Okay. So let's do multiple comic panels depicting two people punching each other, because we were talking about that earlier. Sure, punching each other. Why not? Just they're punching each other. And if we really want to get these characters to be moving out of this, we can actually drop the character weight or add chaos to this. Okay, so I'm going to add a chaos of 100. Just max it out. The only reason this works is because we are combining a profile code, chaos, and a character reference together. Otherwise, chaos is literally chaos, just madness. So I'm curious if we get anything off of this. It looks like not. At least not anything too useful. Chaos seems to have just merged us together. Look at that. We have fused. So I will go ahead and get rid of the character reference here. Let's try that. And then hit submit. As well as get rid of chaos too. I'm going to just basically like shotgun blast all these results out and see what we get. So nervous Victor talking. Punching a pink blob of some sort. And then cat boys. I'm not surprised that we're just randomly getting cat boys, but that is what it is. It's because of the profile code. It's this mood board that's on there. It's got cat boys in it. We got to get rid of it. I'm so sorry. Let's go to edit here. Edit. Get rid of this profile code. We're going to go a lot more into the description and say multiple mechanisms depicting two people punching each other. One is a large armored red-skinned hobgoblin, and the other is a lanky man in all black. Just go for all written description on this prompt and rely on Midjourney looking at the rest of this context and going, how can I fill this in? Oh no, cat boys.
Whatever will we do?
Whatever will we do? So now that we have gone in and just wrote multiple manga panels depicting two people punching each other, one is a large armored redskin hobgoblin and the other is a lanky man in all black, we've gotten rid of everything because there's so much information already in this image. We really don't need it. And it's just basically proven when it comes to looking at all the results. Like, we are able to just keep reiterating off of these similar panels, similar imagery, but we still haven't been able to get them to actually hit each other. Okay. That's okay. We're gonna come down. We'll expand this out here. I like it just because I like that close up of the ear there. And we can either make a separate prompt and start to, add that prompt to this one in order to like guide it with an image prompt. But what I'm gonna do is we're just going to basically say this is the conclusion of this little panel here. So let's do multiple components with two people punching each other. Okay, let's just get rid of the whole description here. I just want them punching, and I'm going to see if it's able to reinforce that just off of this. I can guarantee you that if I now ran this with a character weight of 0 instead, oops, that's the job ID. Let's grab the character weight real quick here. Set it as character reference and then drop that to 0. We'll probably get even more consistency from these two here. So let's see. Okay, all right. So in terms of the depicting two people punching each other, it definitely just put Victor back kind of on the corner. Not really, we're not getting our intent with this one. Nope, nope, not getting it. So we're going to start over with that. So we'll just do this, use this, boop, and then see what happens if we just run that. We don't have the Phantasma mood board on there though. Where are you? There it is. And then hit submit. Okay. Now that I've kind of prattled on about that for a while, you can see that it tried to get something going down here. We have actually some pretty cool interactions here just by rerunning that prompt by itself. So let's go ahead and now set the character weight to 100 just to see what we get, and then I'll bring that into for you guys. But then we got that homework. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that without describing it as a redskin hobgoblin or anything like that, we still don't really get a lot of interactions. We're not getting characters actually physically contact with each other. Okay, we probably need to reinforce that with actual image prompts of people punching each other. Okay, so something like let's do like a boxing match or something like that. I'll grab images of that. We want to do a close up of a face punch, because I recognize with boxing it's going to be a lot of yeah. Let's go with something like close up. Let's just do two people punching. All right, let's go with these two children fighting each other. That sounds fun to me. Okay, so I have these two children that are fighting with each other. I'm pasting the image here right now. There's these two children. Look at these two children. They're just punching each other. It's a stock image. Okay, I regret nothing. Let's go ahead and grab all of this stuff that we had from these previous images, including our character reference. Okay. We have this image prompt here. I'm setting the image prompt really, really low to 0.1, okay? But I'm hoping that we're basically able to get these two characters to follow the composition of this image. We might need to change the aspect ratio too, because a very tall aspect ratio fighting against this relatively standard wide shot might give us some trouble. So okay, let's go ahead and use this. And now we start to pump up the image weight a little bit. So let's do 1.5. And let's go ahead and already change the aspect ratio to something that matches the image weight a little more. So a little better, like 3:2. Okay. Let's see what we get. They'll probably infantile them eventually. They'll turn them into children, but we'll see what happens. How did you get the picture of you and your pony friends, Enid? Let's see. I just want to know what you're talking about here. Let's see. It's the My Scary Pony, Enid? Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So, but this to me is pretty important, guys. This is pretty important. All right. We've created an image here of what can believably be said to be these two characters interacting with each other. Look at that. They're close to punching each other. We definitely want, like, you know, it kind of looks like he got hit in the gut, right? Or he's about to hit Victor in the face. Let's do a variation subtle on this. Okay. What's funny to me is that it's kind of representing the kids' expressions in this too, which is just too funny. But we're gonna find the best image for this, and then we're gonna use that as a guide for the rest of for that first punch in the comic. It's almost like they're arm wrestling. Let's go for this one, but I'm going to we could actually have Victor crouch down and actually do a punch to his gut, you know? That would probably sell that here, but I feel like this might be enough. So let's go ahead and just copy this image. Copy image URL. We're going to now go back to our comic panels here. Okay. This is the last one we had. We can hit the edit button right here in order to jump ourselves back to this and hit editor. And now I'm going to use this as the image weight. Because remember, like we did with the children, we're guiding our composition with the image weights. Okay? So with this one, now we can set the image weight much higher because it matches our characters way closer, right? So we can say maybe something like, I don't know, let's go with 2.5. Nice big number on there. Character weight set to 0 with these two characters in the shot, and we are describing two people punching each other. We're really doubling down on our intent here. We can also try to get rid of the character reference entirely and see what sort of result we get off of that as well, because that will give us less constraints. Yeah, look how much it just added white to the bottom here. Okay, so we might need to set this image weight as a yeah, okay, yeah, I see what's happening here. It saw the face as part of the image here and just tried to continue it. Okay, so let's go ahead and come back to this, hit editor, and instead of using this as an image weight, let's use it as the character reference instead, and then we'll hit submit onto here. We can now add the chaos to, like, let's just add chaos at 100 just to try to really reinforce that we want a whole bunch of stuff happening here. Whatever happens, happens. And it's like Boku or Baku, whatever that Baku fighting fighting anime is. But look, he just got a giant fist. Just got a giant fist. That's what he can do. He just can inflate his fist like One Punch Man, or like not One Punch Man. Sorry, One Piece. Okay. So let's go ahead and try this again, but this time I'm going to not set this as character reference. Oh my god, lol, no comment? Okay. It's Mark Hamill's character from Jay and Silent Bob. We can't say the name. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of this profile shot, because that one I feel like is kind of screwing us up a little bit. Let's go ahead and, because we don't have the Phantasma mood board on this, that's adding to some of the messiness with version 6.1. So let's go ahead and grab that, as well as the comic panel one. So we got both of them in here, and then we'll hit submit. With no character reference, just working off of what's already in the image, and some mood boards. Okay, that was just, did not give us the result at all. It's just generic fight sequences. Okay, so definitely want to keep the character reference somewhere in there. Let's go ahead and do that one more time here. Oops. And then if this attempt doesn't work, then what I'm going to do is give you guys the homework, and we will branch out from there. So let's grab this image here. Okay. We'll use that as the character reference. And then we will grab our image from earlier of the image prompt that I did. Let me open up another instance of Midjourney to make this a bit easier for me. Grab this, copy image address, paste that into there, and this is going to help us get the composition that we want. And then I'm going to drop that image weight really, really low. Let's go for like 0.1. But a chaos 100, why not? Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Anytime you have the character weight set to 100 and you apply chaos, though, it's always interesting to me. Oh, the developers have identified of an error. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. Submit. Image weight 0.1, that's all good. Should work. But we'll also do one with Niji 6. Why not? Yes. Okay. It's still them interacting with each other. We don't have the punching because we have the image weight set so low. But at least now, look at the dynamics between this shot here. It's like almost a reverse shot of this one up top. That's awesome. But in order to get them to actually hit each other, I think we're gonna have to slowly increase that image weight. So let's do that here. Set that to like 0.6 and then 0.1.6. See if we can kind of get these to balance out a bit. But you can see we no longer have the missing backgrounds. We no longer have like any sort of like this makes sense. This looks like an awesome shot. Definitely worth in painting. More reactions. Yeah, we're not really getting the proper punch off of these two, sadly. The image weight is just influencing it way too much. We might want to actually remove the background entirely off of it. Yeah, it's too much work. I'm not going to worry about that with this stream. I think this is a pretty cool shot to end with. We'll focus on actual physicality with the next stream, I feel like. But let's go ahead and copy this over, job ID, and I'll bring that to VC Create for you guys. And then we'll check out everything that you guys have done, as well as give the homework. So, /show. Boom. Okay. All right. There's the result that we ended up with today. $8. Oh, are you guys betting how many times I say giving homework and then not giving it? Because that's what that's the Yes, okay. All right, fine. Whoever made $8 made $8, okay? Because here it comes. So I have from Fran here some lore world building for the fantasy series. They provided it. I am going to paste it and give it to you guys here. So she has asked you guys to describe the sport of Phantasma, which is called Gnome Ball. Everyone comes out to see it. The wizard, gnomes, and the many other fantasy races that have also moved into town. Teams can have massive amount of players on each side, ranging from a dozen to 50 or so. It is well known for there to be gnome piles that occur frequently in play. How is it played? What does the pitch look like? What do the crowds of spectators look like? Who are the major teams and players? And what the hell is a gnome pile? Okay? That is your prompt. That I want to see what you guys come up with for the sport of Gnome Ball and all the different races and potential intricacies of that. Okay? So this is totally a food eating contest. Yes, that's the kind of stuff. Just go nuts. Have fun with it. But it is one of those things that I'm curious to see what sort of teams you guys come up with. What sort of what would a lizard race look like as a sports team? And don't make them all look like Mark Zuckerberg kind of thing. You know what I mean? Do whatever you want. But
if it's a food eating contest, I definitely don't want to know what gnome piles are.
Right. It's all gnome steaks. Yeah, nope. No. I love how this is more. I was worried about the Valentine's stream becoming lewd. You guys made this one instantly lewd. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna say this. I'm just picturing a 1777 gnome 6. Okay. I see where you're going. Yes, it is definitely going to be a story of observing the gnomes from a great distance and deciding the value of life through that. That'd be great. Yes, this is hilarious. Okay, all right. Just to double back though, I do have a backup if you guys don't want to do fantasy sports. Which, by the way, if you want to look at fantasy sports inspirations, there is the Warhammer 40K sports ball thing. I forgot what it's called exactly. Let me pull it up really quick. I should have mentioned this, or should have done the research before. Blood Bowl? Is that Blood Bowl?
Yeah.
Blood Bowl. Okay, yes. You can look up Blood Bowl as an example of a fantasy themed football game. That will definitely give you some ideas. I remember the Blood Bowl board game when I was a kid, going to my fantasy stores to buy Warhammer figurines and stuff and being like, there's a football version of this game? And yes, there is. So that's fun. But that is the recommended homework for you guys, is to try to make the sports. If you do not want to do that, if you do not want to do sports, There is an alternative that I have for you, which is show me your OC's house. Like, show me your fantasy character's home. If you can give me a tour of their home, I will feature it next stream as well. So either the sports team or the or your house. You can pick either one, and we'll feature them at the next stream. It's a really fun way for us to be interacting and to give you guys something to do over the weeks. So thank you, Fran, for offering that idea, and we'll incorporate it into the fantasy stuff. So, all right. From here, we've done a lot of stuff on this stream. We've gone through everything from a couple of different projects from you guys this week to a whole fantasy deep dive, as well as an exploration of the Gnarly Studios server. Thank you so much for linking that again, Kinky. I really appreciate that. Feel free to join the server. That's where we're going to be having the after party when this stream is over, which is going to be pretty soon, and we'll be all hanging out and having you guys come on the stage to chat with us too. So let's dig through the previous prompts. I'm new to this. In fact, we're all new to this. By the way, like the homework is a new concept here. I'm new to this. Who do we bring this homework to and when? You just bring it to the next stream. And you're welcome to
Friday.
Friday. Every Friday at 4 Eastern, we have this stream. You're welcome to join the server and post it there too, in order to iterate and develop stuff with our our group that we have here. But it's just a fun thing to give you guys something to do over the next week, because by the time we get to the end of Fantasy February, which there's only 4 streams a month for me. So like we have the 21st, which is the next stream, and then the 28th. On the 21st, we've done some world building before. We've done some storytelling in the previous stream as well. We were largely getting into some other stuff here with this stream when it comes to trying to expand off of that. But on the 28th, I plan to take all of this and turning it into video. We're going to run everything in Pika Labs and make a massive video sequence with all the stories kind of intertwined with each other. How possible that is, we'll just have to see. But it is something that over the next 3 hours, over the next 2 streams, I feel like we'll be able to collect enough media to make that happen. Between me and Rhapsody, yeah, we'll be able to make some real cool videos with you guys. She got $8. Look at her go. She's so happy with her $8. This sort of live reaction video stuff is going to be great. All right, so Iconoclast says, I sound like a noob here, but I usually apply my skills to setups, text setups, and only sometimes digital animated arts. Long time PS, so not a total noob, but thank you for helping me with some upgrades here. No, I really appreciate hearing that. Every time that somebody says like the stream was helpful for them, it warms my heart. It really helps me know that what I'm doing is useful and helpful for others and whatnot. Please, if you have any questions, just ask. There's so many people here that want to help you. So yeah, from here, let's take a look at some of the previous stuff that you guys have made, and then get to the after party after that. So anthropomorphic chicken gnome ball referee, yes. I don't want to mention the anime that this reminds me of. Okay, let's keep going. This is great. Okay, Enid, this is again more pink-haired characters. I don't know if it's just that's Reveille. Reveille did these ones awesome, or at least did the in painting on it. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, let's keep going. All right, and this is the one that we made. Enid, yeah, infected. Yeah, the pink is like a virus, right? Like it's like the what is it, the white-tailed deer or whatever, where like the white is like a sign of like genetic imbalance in the creatures. It's just eventually everything turns pink. Let's see here. So cute. My partner, which today's Valentine's Day, right? So I should probably tell you all that. My partner is actually in D&D was a bird girl. I'm blanking on the name of the kind from D&D, but it's
Ariel?
No.
Aarakocra.
I think Ancient said it there. It's just kind of a jumble. What is that again? Sorry.
Aarakocra.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely fun to be. She was playing like the preteen bird girl that had very bad social skills. So that was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend using Midjourney to generate stuff while you're working if you don't have the skills to do it traditionally. Anyone who loves this stuff, feel free to add it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome to. All right, and of course the chickens. There's always chickens. There's gotta like it's definitely a running theme here. Um, why is this chicken so? I'm sorry. The top left, the top right one I mean here is just too damn funny to me. He's like he's like hiding something underneath. He's like, no, I'm just a normal chicken. I'm just here, whatever. But nope, nope. This is great. Yeah, anything with this, we gotta submit this character to the character portal. By the way, he's a great villain. We're making some really fun villainous looking characters here. This is awesome. We got to come up with a name though. Um, nice. Yes, trying to make this interaction here. That's awesome. Very cool, guys. And shifting away from the art style with Nixie's here. That's cool though.
Ah, Turb, the anti-Bert. That's why you called him Turb.
I see. I see.
Clever gum pasta.
What is this going on here, Hillgarden? This is nuts. This is like one of those things that I would expect like Dark Horse to come out with. Like this is some pretty intense stuff. I dig it though. I kind of want to like break down what you did here. Let's get rid of the rest of this. Okay. 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 So it's very much like um uh it's just like horror art. Like I'm blanking on the artist right now, but it's just too it. This is fun. I dig it. I think you should deep dive into this a little more. See what sort of like I can kind of see him being like uh a hack and saw sort of like I'm gonna make a new monster off of Frankenstein pieces of other people. Like that's what I'm picturing here, especially that first panel result. It's pretty cool. Just picking up old prompts to pieces. Yeah, yeah. Very cool. And I do dig, and I'm just digging it. I'm just digging at some of the aesthetics that it produces. But anytime we have these sort of fantasy shots where we have these long sort of shot, like you can see like the modernism that's introduced here, right? Like the almost like Tesla truck logo and the bus stop and all that stuff. That's being introduced because of just the sheer number of mood boards that's been added onto this, and then adding chaos on top of that. So if there's anything that's not fantasy inside of the mood boards, that's going to pull it out for sure. Um, Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, mood boards do so much to just establish, like the world for me. Um, and in the Sage comics, which I know that with all the fantasy stuff, I'm not getting into that now. But with the Sage comics, I've been using mood boards of the Sage comics to in paint, particularly Sage's face when doing expressions, and it's just so nice to do. This is neat, but man, does it drastically move away from the art style that we're kind of aiming for here, and it's just because like that is it just looks cool. I mean, it looks cool, but it's definitely more of a shorthand minimalist or like fast hand drawing style, where it's like not so much concerned about the details, but more about getting the mood and the feeling right. Um, there's a couple artists online that really their work that accelerates online is the work that does that rather than their refined like fine art stuff. First one I can think of is Well Drawn Fish. She has two different styles that she uses. One that's her comic on Tumblr, and another that's like her high end stuff. Like that's night and day in terms of like quality difference. That is just awesome. But it like this is more popular than the refined high stuff because people it's just relatable. People like aspire to draw like her. So very cool. All right, awesome. I mean, there's just a lot of really cool shots from you guys too. A lot of the stuff from the fantasy mood boards just really emphasize neat environments, especially. Like I love how this character is moving through the world though. This like low, dominative stance is awesome. Okay, all right, guys. Well, we're 5 minutes to 6:30. I think that's pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about a lot of what you guys have made here today. But we will collect all of it and post it to the Gnarly Studio server. I invite you guys to join the Gnarly Studio server in order to join the show after the show. It's where we make things and hang out. I've already given an explainer of it, so I hope to see you guys there. And if there's any other questions or anything, feel free to ask it on the server. I don't respond to PMs. Sorry guys, but you guys are welcome to ask anything here, there, wherever. As long as it's public, I'm happy to answer it so other people can learn from it too. Right? If I responded to every DM, it would be insane to manage it all. So I really do appreciate you guys using the server in order to talk with me and any of the other people that are involved, so that we all collaboratively learn things together. So, all right. I hope to see you guys over at the Gnarly Studios server, and we'll just hang out and chat. But thank you, Ancient and Kinky, for co-hosting with me today. It was so much fun, and I hope you guys had a good time too.
Thank you so much, and don't forget to come to Prompt Battles this weekend. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.